something similar to Docker stack. There is we have Okteto stack. So um, Vinay, can you present a screen and go ahead?
Yeah. Thanks, Sangam. So I hope my voice is very clear right now. So let me
It's
share
clear.
my screen. Okay. So I hope, let me know once you can share my screen. So can anyone confirm right now? Okay. Okay, great. So first of all, good afternoon all. So thanks for coming out on this channel and spending your time. So who am I right now? Like myself, Vinay. So I'm currently working with Dell EMC as a principal software engineer. I have a total industry experience of 13 years. So I worked with VMware, few of the other organizations, Atos, Oracle. So I worked on platforms where VMware, Docker, Kubernetes, cloud, different cloud, Git and Jenkins. So this is all about me in very short way. And you can connect me over the LinkedIn or you can ping me over Twitter. So these are the handles for me. So as said by Sangam, I'll be talking about Docker Compose on Kubernetes with Octeto Stack. Okay, first thing which I like to talk about Octeto Stack, how I came across with this platform, Octeto Cloud, basically how I came across with this platform. So I'll take a few minutes on that. So basically, I'm working on a project which demands right now to convert that into microservice. And when you talk about to convert into microservice, so for that basic requirement is we need to containerize that application. So that for that we need a Docker, and we need definitely we need some tool to manage it, or I can say orchestration. So for that we today we use widely Kubernetes, right? So to do that, very first thing what we have to expect is we need an infrastructure for that. And to setting up an infrastructure, everyone knows it's not a cakewalk. So basically, it takes lots of efforts and it lots of infrastructure, right? And in an organization, it's not that easy to get infrastructure for testing. Okay, so my team of developers, which are very much interested into developing their code, right? They will be least bothered about the infrastructure. So when I was working on this, I came across this Octeto platform, and what I liked the most about this Octeto cloud, what it do is that it provide me the infrastructure. Okay, first of all, as we have seen, it provide a free infrastructure to us where it is having a limitation where we can create one namespace with four CPUs and different resource, and that is quite efficient to run our application. That so if you think about from developer point of view, if he's working on one microservice, so he'll be writing some code, and so in normal scenario, he'll be writing his code, and then it will give it to DevOps engineer to run a pipeline or to test on the infrastructure. So he has a dependency right now. To overcome that, what I found is that Octeto Cloud, what it do, it provides an infrastructure, right? So infrastructure in the sense like provide a Kubernetes platform. So what it benefits is that the developer don't have to worry about the other engineer. I would say that infrastructure guy to test it. He can himself or he or she can himself test in his local environment, and that is very much like I can say from developer point of view, very cool effort from the Octeto. So he don't have to depend on anyone. He just need to install the CLI and he do the changes and he can run it. Now, second thing, when you read about these Docker Compose and Kubernetes, I'm not sure anyone has done this before, like to run Compose and Kubernetes. I'm not sure whether it was possible, but yeah, in Octeto, they provide stack. Using that, we can run the Docker Compose file on Kubernetes, right? So it is going to create an environment in Kubernetes, which Kubernetes manages. But for that, we don't need to write a Kubernetes manifest file. We can use very well our Docker Compose file. So that saves lots of effort from learning's perspective, who is very new to Kubernetes, who is very much comfortable on Dockers. So he can use the same file and run over the Kubernetes using the Octeto stack. So in overall, I can say that it's solved lots of purpose for the developer or for a person who is who don't have infrastructure and who don't have knowledge on Kubernetes, much of knowledge, so he can write his own Docker Compose and can use it here. So that is a background which I just want to cover why I came across. Hello, yeah. So I hope my voice is clear right now, Sangam. Can I?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
clear.
Okay, great. Thanks, man. So what I'm going to cover, there's not much of slide right now. I'm going to see the Octeto page right now where I can go through it and let you know how it works, how this works basically. So when you go to cloud Octeto platform, right? So this is what it talks about Docker Compose and Kubernetes with Octeto Stack. Okay, so what it says that it provides a platform for the developers which is not aware of much of Kubernetes, right? So they they are aware of their code, and that's all they have to do. To so work with Docker Compose and Kubernetes, there are some prereqs, and it's very well covered here. Like you just need to have Octeto CLI on your machine. It's just a binary which you can download from here for Linux and Mac. They support Linux, Mac, and even they have Windows support. So if you go there and look out the page, it's very straightforward. You just need to curl, or for Windows, you can just download that and point it out to your path variable, and that's all. So you have Octeto environment in your local box. When you say local box, it can be your the dev environment where you're doing your development code and everything, right? So right now I'm using my Windows machine, so I have installed on this. And so when you talk about yeah, first, so you can have your access to cloud namespace. So what it means is that so when you go to cloud.octeto.com, right, and you need to get registered, okay, so you can have your free account. So they provide GitHub and Git. I think few of the other things you can log in with that. Okay, so once you log in, this is the platform where you can see that, and this is what they call as namespace. Okay, so for free account there is a one namespace where your all resources will be there in the Kubernetes, right? So for me, I have created one, and that is my namespace. So when you log into that, the very first screen you see that, and you have your namespace handy with you. So everything comes here. Okay. So so this is what it's talking about. So if you have to on local environment, you want to run Kubernetes command and see all the ports and everything, just you can use the Octeto CLI and configure your namespace and or kubeconfig file here. You can download it from there. Okay, so I'll take example from here. What it means by Docker Compose on Kubernetes using Octeto Stack. Okay, so so I have right now. So there is a repo right now. They have an so very well example is just a voting app. Okay, so I just need to clone it. Okay, so which I already done on my box right now. Okay, so so this is my machine where I have already cloned it. So once you clone it, you can navigate to the particular directory. Okay. So what it contains is basically from layman language, I can say that that is basically this folder. And what it has is that your basically application code, right? So here is the code which is basically a Python file, which so if you open it quickly, you can see that what exactly doing. It's a voting app. So you just have to click on vote button. So think about your application where you can put your code here like that way, and so you can have a folder structure like that. So like this, you can have. So I'm just taking an example right now because I can't share my like office thing. So you can think about your application with the Docker Compose file, and so they have the Octeto stack YAML file, which is quite similar to Docker Compose file. Okay, so if you open it here, so this is how it looks like. So if very much aware of that, what how the Docker Compose file looks like. Basically, what is the name of the app which you want to configure, and what all services you want, right? So if it is there is only one, basically two services. There is front end and back end right now. What I say that is what is the first service name is vote, and it is a Python based right now. and second is DB basically. Okay, that is Redis, and we are using persistent storage to store the data. So this is all about Docker Compose file, which you can look into that. And So Okteto has its own Docker registry also. So they have whether you can. So what it provides is you don't need to have anything on your machine right now, right? So if you look at my machine right now, I don't have Docker install on this. Um, Okay, still I can build images here, and how it can be done is that using the Octeto infrastructure, right? So they provide the command Octeto build, and that will go to that the Octeto cloud infrastructure. It will do it will do build images for you. Okay, using the Docker build kit. So everything is set up in the Octeto cloud for you. You just need to worry about your code, that's all, and few commands, which is very handy, and then you can kick off those commands and everything is done for you. So when you read about this file, it's very straightforward, very so what is the image, what it do basically, how many replicas, what are resource. So it talks about those things. Okay, coming back to that, so that's all. So what we have to do is that, as I shown you, this is that YAML file. Think about it, can be your YAML, anything it can be. And so now how to bring that up. So if you can see right now, I don't have anything in my namespace. Okay, so I just need to run one simple command right now.
Vinay, I can see only the PPT.
Oh, really? Sorry, man. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, 1 second. Um, where is that session? Okay. Is it able to? Are you able to see anything right now? Oh, sorry. Yeah. I hope now you're able to. So it's loading right now.
Yes, yes, I can see now.
Okay. I'm really sorry for that. Sorry. Okay, guys. I So what I was talking about. So this is how the cloud platform looks like. Okay. So I missed earlier. And so you can go to that particular URL. Okay, and log in with the GitHub or other account credentials, and it will give you a namespace. What I told you. Okay, where whatever resources for you, it will be deployed here. Okay, and yeah, so I was going through this page. So they have a document, I'm covering this right now. Docker Compose and Kubernetes with Okteto stacks. Okay, so what I'm saying, so to try out, you can clone that repo, and can you do also hands-on, that will give you a idea how it works. And yeah, so this is how that Octeto stack YAML looks like, which is quite same as Docker Compose YAML, right? And yeah, okay. And what I said, you should have only Docker CLI, sorry, Octeto CLI on your machine, and I told you how we can do that. And you can see I don't have Docker run on my machine, so nothing is installed, no Docker, no Kubernetes. That nothing is there on my machine. So it's all like infrastructure. I don't have anything. So my machine is free with all that heavy running load and all. I just have my code in my machine. Okay, so to bring that app up, so what you have to do, you have to go to that particular code, and where your YAML file is there, and so that you can run. Okay, so this is the CLI way we can do install that Octeto Docker Compose, right? And there is a cloud way also. I mean, so they have a cloud UI also. So let me cover the CLI part right now. So what it is doing, it will deploy. So see, you can see it is deploying the stack. Okay, and stack, which is going to read the Octeto stack YAML file. Okay, so in the backend, in the infrastructure, it will create all the services deployment file, and whatever the required resources for that, it is going to create it within a less than a minute. It will be done for you. And if I go to my cloud right now, so you can see.
So see, it is there. So it will create a HTTP URL for that also. So you don't have to do anything right now. I mean to say, like, everything is up and running for you. Your app is running right now, right? How cool is that? Like, so you don't have to worry about the infrastructure part. It's done with less than a minute. Now you can see there are two containers which is running, and like one is vote the name, and one is Redis DB, and we have a storage right now. That is very well. And if you click here, so you can find the logs also, what happened over that container basically. Okay, so quickly, if when I click on this link, yeah, so this is the app. Basically, it talks about the voting. If you click, and so yeah, so that's all. So this is basically, that is one part is done. So your application is up and running and over the cloud, and you can, yeah, your purpose is solved right now, right? Now, so think about the case now. So now the second scenario is when developer want to change anything right now in the code, right? So if he has to change anything right now, he'll go to um, so this is the code file, right? Okay, fine. So think about now. Think about a scenario where he has to do some changes in his code. So once you do the changes in the normal scenario, he'll do the changes. He will give the file to the particular engineer. He will do an update in the infrastructure using any of the Puppet, Ansible, or blah blah. Or either he'll be having some CI/CD pipeline, right? And then that particular, it is going to be done the whole cycle CI/CD pipeline, or is going to create manually those images, and that is going to be up in Kubernetes, right? So the developer has a dependency right now to test single change. But here, what can happen? Like if I do, so I'm just doing some changes in my code right now. So like this, okay. So I have done changes and I have saved this, okay. So what Okteto provides, if you see here, quickly, I'll show you one thing here. So they have a concept of development environment, right? What it means is that so when you see here, it says that development mode is disabled, right? What it means is that like whatever that container which is up and running, right, and whatever changes you are doing it right now, it will automatically sync there. You don't have to do anything. So what they use is file synchronization method in the backend. To make it happen, what you have to do, you just have to go here, and you have to do Okteto up. So it will enable the development mode for your container. It will be just so it will what it do in the backend, it will read your container and it read your application. According to that, it will prepare one file, and that file is this octeto.yaml file. Okay, so okay, I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, so that's what I was reading about, right? So it is going to make your environment as a development environment. What it means is that whatever local changes you'll do, it will be automatically get reflected in your application when it is up and running. So there is no as such downtime when you see that there. It will be, you don't need to rebuild again. So see, now it is when you see it is enabled right now, right? So now whatever changes I do here, if I do any changes here, right, I have done the changes here, and let's see here. 1 second. Yeah. So see, those changes has been reflected here, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's how cool is that when you have locally, you can do changes in your machine. Developer can do changes, and he can only test on his local machine whatever changes is there in the, basically when you so-called like Kubernetes infrastructure, like sort of, right. So he don't no need to depend on other person. So he can test his microservice local machine and can hand over. And once you are done with this, So 1 second. Yeah, I'm sorry. So what? Yeah, this is what. When I run this tab, what it do actually, it is going to build a Docker image from the Docker file. So this is what I have seen right now. So once you're done, finalized with the changes, right now you need to push your image because you already tested locally, but you need to have that image to be centralized, right? So that further any other team which is dependent on your service can pick that image. How you can do that? Using this command. Okay, so go to terminal here and I can run that. Yeah, so what it is going to do, it is going to read the Docker file which is there right here. And so using Docker file, it is going to build the image which is for the vote app, right? And according to that, it is going to build it. Yeah, so if you see the output here, it is reading the Docker file and building the image. So once you're done with the final changes in your code, you can build the image and you can push it. So you can use any of the hub. So whether Okteto provide their own own repo, or you can use Docker Hub also with your credentials, and you can push the image there. So now your image is also ready, up and running. It's there in the hub, and so that's all. So you are done with the test in your local environment, and your image is also there in the central repository. And as I told you, Okteto use their own build service. I mean to say that build kit to build the images, and they have their own Okteto registry, right? So your cool. So your first stack sort of is ready in your Okteto cloud. And if you come here and see, yeah, it's shown you, right? It is up and running here. Okay, so this is what I was trying to say, that like how cool is this Okteto stack, or I'll say Okteto cloud, where a layman who is not who is not aware of much of Kubernetes, he can use still Docker Compose if we provide them, and he can run his own application. So this is how we can achieve using the CLI. And if I delete that quickly, I'll show you how we can do Okteto Cloud, and that's all from my side on this. So yeah, so this is how you can delete it, or else you can delete using the CLI also. It's hmm. So it will free up the resources, right? Okay. Sorry, it should be stack. Yeah. So one thing which I want to show you here before. Yeah, I forgot to show you. Like now, if you want to see what all resources is there in the cloud, you can track it out here on your local machine also. So see, so you don't have Kubernetes installer, right? You just need to have kubectl CLI install your machine, and that will give you all the detail about the Kubernetes infrastructure which you have in the Okteto cloud. If you do, if someone is not like going to browser, so see, so everything you can list it down. So everything is there on your local environment. If you want to connect to a particular container, you can get the detail. This is what Redis. Okay, these are the container. This is the service, and yeah. So everything we found it out on local environment, and you can connect to your container and whatever you want to do task. If you want to debug anything, you can do it from your local environment. So yeah, so I just want to destroy it right now. I believe this is the command to destroy. Yeah, so this is how it's going to destroy. Okay, it is destroyed. So if I go here, yeah, so you can see it's destroyed. But yeah, as you know, like this is persistent storage, so it not get deleted automatically. So you have to delete it manually once it becomes. Okay, cool. So your application has been removed here. Now, so quickly, I can show you like how we can do from Okteto Cloud from the UI. So when you click on this, these are the number of other application I'll say they have handy here for trial. But this is what I am talking about, Docker Compose Stack. Okay, so once you click on that, so it will give you everything, whatever the configuration file you can do changes accordingly. You can write your own, modify this. You don't need to have like Docker Compose file. So somewhere you can write it here itself. Okay, you can name it, and if I same whatever we have there in the same file, and once you click deploy, yeah, so this is also the deployment will get complete, and you will be getting your application up and running soonly here. The same what we have shown from the CLI is quickly done from the from your what I say from the Okteto Cloud UI. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's yeah. So it's up and running, right? So as it's very fastly, you can see that. So when you click here, you can have your own particular application which you can add it. If you see add repository, you can add your repository here, and you can do the rest of the things what you want to do it. Okay, so yeah, this is all about Docker Compose on Kubernetes using Okteto stack. I know it was quick and fast. Yeah, so this is what I all I need to cover. And thanks for your time. If you have any questions, please let me know right now, or me or Sangam, or anyone, or you can reach out later also. So yes, please, Sangam. So I'm done with the Octeto strike right now.
So Vinay, it's a very wonderful session. So this is a good for those who want to start or using Okteto in day-to-day project or personal project, or they are ending up with some kind of like load on their machine. Like they when they install a Docker on machine, it take too much memory. It's consume too much memory. Rather you are using Mac or anything. So it's very difficult for as developer perspective, and when you have multiple changes continually rapidly, so it's very difficult painful for the developer who change build a docker file again and again, make a changes in code, and it's a cycle, it's painful cycle, I will say. It's a very wonderful session on Docker Compose on Kubernetes using Octave stack. So we have the first session which Jivan Jot is going to show the final